I'm not just a selectman in the town of Essex. I am also a healthcare professional. I work at Custom Medicine Pharma Center in Beverly. We're a compounding pharmacy, which means we make specialized medication, and which is more like a closed facility lab, but we do deal with chemicals all day. I do have a hairnet on, and we are required to wear a face mask, which I took off for my interview. I'm in a lab coat and scrubs. So yes, I'm donning the COVID-19 approved attire. So my apologies for not looking a little more professional.
Well, I think it's great that you are a select person in Essex, Massachusetts, and you are dressed like this. Very appropriate for the time and place, I think. So, so thanks, Ruth Pereen, for being with us today. Ruth, how has it been for you personally as a selectman, suddenly having to manage your town in a health and economic disaster?
So I have to confess, I have such an amazing Board of Health and Town Administrator, Brendan Zubricki, that they have made it much easier to deal with such a large scale issue. Our Board of Health Administrator, Erin Kirchner, has just done an amazing job keeping all of our departments on top of this ever-changing pandemic. She has worked closely with fire, police, and all of our businesses in Essex to ensure the health and safety of everybody, which certainly makes my job much easier. Our public health nurse, Leanne Cook, she has done an equally amazing job working with our COVID-19 positive patients and their families. So we've had nothing but praise from those departments, which again, makes my job much easier, I have to say. Economically speaking, I think it's too soon to really forecast what's going to happen. I mean, clearly, as you talk to people, everyone's portfolios are down 30 to 50%. Businesses are doing the best they can with takeout and online, will calls, telephone orders, curbside deliveries. But I think that we're going to see a long-term impact to many of these businesses. I'm just praying every day that a lot of them reopen, to be honest with you. But hopefully the town can work with our local businesses to make sure that they do have a successful future when this passes.
Mm. So are you pleased with the way the Essex residents are responding to the stay-at-home order? And how about businesses? You know, how are you hearing from them that they're, what's their response? Residents and businesses?
Sure. As far as I can tell, the residents themselves are very compliant. We don't seem to have a really busy, our town is really bustling and hopping on a Saturday morning. You get to, see all of your local residents at the dump and the post office, and it's a very different atmosphere. I would say that people are only coming out for the necessities and very seldom at that. So I definitely think that the residents are very compliant with the stay-at-home suggestions. As far as the businesses go, I would say, and I don't have all of the stats in front of me, so forgive me, but I would say probably 75% of our restaurants are still doing takeout. 25% of them, I think, have closed for whatever reason, whether it's not to have to keep food in-house or not to pay the staff. I'm not really sure what the reasoning behind it, but I would say 75% of them are doing takeout. And like Sea Meadow Gifts, they've kept their doors open, and I believe Georgianne is just doing will call if you needed something. She's still trying to help the residents. If you needed a gift, you can call her and say, I have a birthday, can I pick something up? And she's doing porch deliveries. She also has choreographed with local residents to keep them occupied. She's doing the sewn mask program. And I know to date that they've done well over 1,000 hand sewn masks. It's a local resident group of probably over 20 residents that have made these masks. They've been donated to Beverly Hospital. They've been donated to just people in general. And the orders keep coming in looking for those. So we've had an amazing group of people just working together.
Mm. And Essex is known for two things that I can think of right now: fried clams and antique shops. So what do you hear from the antique owners? I mean, are they doing things online? I mean, it's such a sort of it's not iconic, but it's really that stretch of antique shops is really kind of a famous place in America. So what do you think from those shop owners?
So I have to say that I've only heard from one antique shop owner, and that was Tom Lang at Parham Lang Antiques. He is only doing online ordering. His facility, or his beautiful antique church that's been transformed into this beautiful antique store. It's closed to the public, and he is doing online auctions and online ordering. I don't know the particulars about shipping or how any of that is going, but I have kept up with him through a online Facebook group that he's mentioned that he's still able to do online auctions and online orders.
Right, right. And what's the status of work on the new Essex Police and Fire Departments? They had just broken ground when all this happened, right?
That's absolutely correct. That project qualifies as critical in strategic infrastructure. So as such, our project is not prevented from continuing to work. So while the supply chain and labor availability issues could introduce some minor project delays, based on what we know now, the work is proceeding at a very steady pace and should not be not stop. And the delay at this point, we were originally anticipating the project to wrap up in January of 2021. And now the new expected date, quite frankly, is only at the end of February. So we're only about 4 or 6 weeks delayed at this point.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Corey, you have some questions?
Well, I was just going to ask Ruth if it seems like we're sort of in this mode through May 4th. This stay-at-home order, et cetera, and then it seems like there's going to be another key decision on whether that's prolonged, and we would sort of anticipate perhaps the cancellation of the school year, and kind of bring us in the beginning of summer. So, is the town anticipating that, and are there been any preparations for dealing with any summer activities, or is it too soon to tell?
I feel like at this point it's too soon to tell. I think we've been taking most of our guidance by way of what the governor is doing. So the stay-at-home order is through May 4th. As you know, let's touch on the topic of Conomo Point, which I know is one of the things that you're probably going to want to cover today. We had to make a decision that was kind of started by a conversation with the Board of Health that they wanted to delay the reoccupancy of Conomo Point. And that order is currently through May 4th. I think that if you read the order, it does say that it would follow whatever the governor's orders are. So if they just to continue that order, that order would also continue in Essex. Truthfully, we haven't really talked about summer related, I guess, playgrounds and children's activities. We really haven't started to cross that bridge. I think we won't cross that bridge until we figure out what's going to happen with school and governor's orders.
Right. Are the marinas closed right now?
The marinas are not closed. That has been brought to our attention via email today, that there have been residents questioning whether the marina should close, since Conomo Point is kind of, for all intents and purposes, the seasonal residents are not going to be reoccupying. They wanted to know why the marinas haven't closed. They are considered essential, and I don't know that they will close, but it's always something we can discuss. There will be a Selectman's meeting this evening at 6:30, and it is on the agenda for the harbor master to be there and discuss the kind of the river, the docks, the buoys, the moorings, and that will be part of the agenda this evening.
Mm-hmm.
So
will that meeting be online again, Ruth?
It will be yes, it will be online, but it's a telephone. So we don't have Zoom meetings at this point, and we don't do Skype. We're just doing telephone meetings, so they're conference calls, and it will be available by call-in. It's on our essexmass.org homepage will be the dial-in phone number and the access code.
So citizens can call in, you're given an access number, and they can listen.
Absolutely.
And they can participate, right? Is that also?
They can participate. So because we're not using Zoom, this requires that participants that either don't have computers or smartphones, they can call in on a landline. What we're going to be doing this evening, this hasn't been announced yet, but we're going to try to move toward write-in comment period. So instead of public comment at the beginning, I'm going to allow for a 10-minute time period where the people can email. If they do have computers, they can email in their questions. They're going to go to my town administrator, Brendan Zubricki. He's going to, at 6:10, he's going to read me those questions, and we're going to try to answer them. It's going to give us the ability to kind of streamline the meeting. It got a little bit colorful on Wednesday night. So instead of doing that, I think it's going to be best if we don't do that, kind of just people speaking over everyone. however, for some of our old generation that may not have a smartphone or a computer and can't email in questions, we will probably be able to give special permission to speak as long as it's done in a, in a respectful manner. I feel that it's of great importance to be able to let the public speak. That feedback is important. It's a great tool to help us assist setting policy for all intents and purposes. I mean, feedback is important in any industry, whether it's town government or, a local business. But so the public's input matters to me.
Well, we can't let you get away without giving a brief summary of what happened at the last meeting and and how it was resolved and what decisions were made. Could you please do that?
Sure. So the Board of Health, so as you know, Conomo Point is this amazing little hidden jewel that has two different sets of residents. We have what's considered the year-round residents, as well as what we call the seasonal residents or summer residents. So on April 15th every year, the town water gets turned on. And what that does is it allows for the seasonal residents to have water to their homes. The year-round residents have a cistern or a well. And when the water goes on April 15th, the year-round residents change over from cisterns and wells to town water, and the seasonal residents get to turn on the water. What that does is it brings this huge influx of people to their summer homes. And with the stay-at-home order, the Board of Health had serious concerns about the possibility of 400 people kind of coming in all at once on April 15th. And the thought was they may want to use these summer homes to quarantine and get from, let's just say they live in New York City and they want to come to their summer home. But what it would do is put a huge drain on our already limited resources. As most people know, we have a call fire department. Those call fire department or call fire members, they are there to respond when somebody calls 911. And if we have 400 additional residents in town, and let's say we have a number of COVID positive patients, we do not have the number of PPEs that are required. We have a small police department. The resources would just be tapped really rapidly if we had 400 additional people come to town. So the Board of Health made a decision that they were not, initially the decision was to not turn on the water, which would prevent the increase of population on April 15th. After long consideration and public input, and quite frankly, Bob Sisk, who is the president of the Conomo Point Association, tried to come up with a compromise. And the compromise was, let us have the water on, but we're going to make a recommendation to all the association members that they don't come until after May 4th. And they've been great about trying to work with the town. This isn't about separating Conomo Point residents from the rest of Essex. They are Essex residents. They pay taxes. They have dump stickers. They should not be defined as anything different. And we do believe that they are residents, but it does, this is for the greater good. You have to consider bringing in 400 additional bodies into a town could potentially cause a health problem. And this is about the bigger picture, the greater good. Do you want to, and I hate to say it, but people also have to think of this in a less selfish way. Would you want to come and potentially infect your neighbor if you were positive and didn't even know it at this point? They're saying that people can be positive and not know it for 2 weeks. So why would you want to do that to your neighbor, your friends, our geriatric population? So having said that and giving you a little bit of background, the Board of Health did make the decision to turn on the water so that the year-round residents could change over their wells and cisterns to town water. And the decision was made to not allow seasonal residents to come back to Conomo Point until after May 4th. So that is the current standing order.
Thank you very much. That clarifies a lot. So good luck with the meeting tonight.
Thank you.
Bring earplugs just in case.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
And we wish those Conomo Point residents well also.
Yes, so do I.
Yeah.
So Ruth, we'd love to check in with you sometime down the road just to see how things are going.
Sure.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah, if we could do that regularly, that'd be great to find out. We need to keep up with the great town of Essex.
We are such a great town. We
You are. Yeah.
We are an awesome little town. So we can't wait until you guys can come back and have fried clams and visit our antique stores.
There you go. Exactly. There's a lot of good stuff in Essex. So thank you again, and we will talk to you again soon.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
Be well,
Bye.
Ruth.